Welcome back to Crawford-Clark Close-Up and the first of our television reviews for 2019. This time we're taking you back to 2003, which saw the debut season of Channel 4's innovative new comedy that would be groundbreaking in its verite filming style, centering around the lives of a couple of flatmates, Mark and Jeremy, desperately trying to fit in whilst juggling the fact that they have nothing in common between them. Having both launched their comedy careers in 2001's The Mitchell and Webb Situation, David Mitchell would play the socially inept Mark Corrigan, and Robert Webb the layabout stoner Jeremy Usborne. Their awkward interactions with others in this brilliantly satirical show spanned 54 episodes over 9 series over 12 years, and also launched the career of the hugely talented Olivia Colman. We've been watching Peep Show from beginning to end, and to mark 15 years since its inception, here's our ranking of our top 10 favourite episodes. We begin at number 10 with Series 5, Episode 1, Burgling. The series begins as it means to go on, with Mark trying desperately to find love again after the disaster with Sophie at the end of Series 4. Believing that Heather is the one, Heather soon rebuffs Mark as gently as she can, but only after coming back to his flat where Mark tries to apprehend a burglar. Can he prove his manliness to Heather and change her mind about a potential relationship? This is a strong, consistently funny series opener. At number 9 is probably the best episode from Series 2. It's Episode 2, where Mark befriends a new work colleague, only to discover he's a racist. Meanwhile, Jeremy tries to make a soundtrack for someone who used to pick on one they were at school together. He thinks he's about to hit the big time, until the man decides not to pay up. Next up at number 8, it's Series 4, Episode 3, Gym. Sophie convinces Mark to join the gym, which Mark begins to regret when he lets slip to his personal trainer that he doesn't really love Sophie. Jeremy decides to try and get a job at the same gym when he discovers that old flame Nancy is also working there. At 7 is Series 3, Episode 6. Mark, Sophie, Jeremy, Superhands and Big Suze head to the Quantox on a weekend break, with Mark set to propose to Sophie. Things are going fairly well by Mark's standards, until Mark and Jeremy lose their bearings out on the moors. Just sitting outside the top 5 at number 6 is Series 4, Episode 2. The JLB conference is happening in Kettering, and Mark is worried that he's not going to be ready to head the meeting about Project Zeus, as he has nothing to present in front of the board. David Mitchell plays Mark's desperation brilliantly, and Patterson Joseph is superb as ever as Mark's misogynistic boss Johnson. We begin our top 5 with the only entry from Series 7 of the show in the top 10. In the first episode of the series, Mark becomes a father as Sophie gives birth. Meanwhile, Jeremy is trying to console a young woman whose boyfriend is in a coma, only because he's hoping the boyfriend doesn't make a recovery. The episode is a return to form after a few disappointing episodes in the previous season, and contains some of the most sparkling dialogue in the show up to this point. Another brilliant episode takes the number 4 spot on our list, Series 3, Episode 3. Perhaps the most consistently funny episode up to this point. Mark is ill with gastric flu, but there's no door on the bathroom. Jeremy is trying to have a magic mushroom party and locks ill Mark in his bedroom, so it's Johnson to the rescue, who comes round to rescue Mark, but witnesses Mark's endless pooing. Beginning the top 3 now, and it's no coincidence that our top 3 episodes of the show all come from Series 4, as it's clearly the finest season of the lot. First up is Series 4, Episode 1. Things are getting serious in Mark and Sophie's relationship, and it's time for Mark and Jeremy to meet Sophie's parents. Jeremy gets stuck with Sophie's bizarre younger brother and her sexually repressed mother with her jams, whilst Mark inadvertently lets it slip that he doesn't want to marry Sophie in front of Sophie's father. Mark and Sophie end up getting Nana's cottage, and Mark and Jeremy are associates in a barn burning. This is a hilarious start to a brilliant 4th series, if not just for the inclusion of Altered Image's Happy Birthday and the confused looks on Mark and Jeremy's faces. It's 2 consecutive episodes of Series 4 that round off our top 10, and at number 2 is Episode 5, in which Jeremy organises a stag wedding on a canal boat ahead of Mark's imminent wedding, until they bump into a father and his 2 daughters, who they're both trying to impress, until Jeremy manages to run over the family's dog and tries to bury it. The episode is a brilliant character building exercise for Mark and Jeremy that, as always, goes spectacularly wrong. The number one episode of Peep Show for Crawford-Clark Close-Up is Series 4, Episode 6, and you can dispute it with us all you want, but we stand by this one. Mark and Sophie's wedding day has arrived. Mark is trying to do anything to avoid having to arrive at the church, including randomly walking out in front of a car while staring directly at the driver. When Mark and Jeremy do arrive, Jeremy urinates in the church down on the unsuspecting guests, and the ceremony is a shambles. Mark and Jeremy sharing the limo as they drive away from the disaster is the definition of awkwardness that Peep Show does best. It's a finely constructed episode, a great series finale, and sums up Peep Show in a perfect 30-minute encapsulation. So, those are our picks of the best of Peep Show. If you've never seen the show because you're unsure of the filming style, please give it a try. We think you'll be pleasantly surprised. If you're a Peep Show fan, what do you think of our choices? Let us know your picks in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click subscribe at the top of the page so you don't miss out on any new content on the channel. Got something else you want us to review? Drop us an email with your suggestions to crawfordclarkcloseup@gmail.com. You can also come and find us on social media. We're on Facebook and Twitter. Up next, we'll be returning to our James Bond retrospective with the next two reviews of 60s classics Goldfinger and Thunderball. Plus, coming soon, we'll be looking back at the Matrix trilogy as the original film marks its 20th anniversary this year. 20 years. No, we can't believe it either. Until next time, thanks for watching, and that's a wrap.